Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 10th episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. I'm your host, Ishan Agarwal, and in this series, I spotlight influential and inspiring leaders who can inspire and teach us all. Today, we're going to look at someone who took a struggling company and turned it into a global powerhouse, Dana White, the president and CEO of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC. Dana's leadership principles and incredible accomplishments offer lessons that can help both students and administrators thrive. The UFC is a mixed martial arts, MMA for short, promotion company that produces events worldwide. It was founded on November 12, 1993, owned by the Semaphore Entertainment Group at the time. It was sold to the company Zuffa, who placed Dana White as the president of the company in 2001. Zuffa was eventually bought by a group led by the Andavor Group Holdings Company in 2016. Dana became the CEO of the UFC in 2023. Now, the UFC is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Dana White is known for being a visionary and relentless leader. When he took over the UFC, it was not the giant organization that it is now. In fact, the UFC was on the verge of collapse, with almost no mainstream recognition and struggling financially. But Dana had a vision for what mixed martial arts could be. He believed in the potential of the fighters, the sport, and his team. Under his leadership, the UFC became the multi-billion-dollar company that we know today, broadcasting in over 165 countries. Well, that's the power of leadership. He showed us that no matter how tough the situation, with determination and vision, you can turn anything around. One of Dana's greatest accomplishments was getting the UFC sanctioned and regulated across the United States and around the world. Before Dana's leadership, mixed martial arts was seen as too violent and chaotic, and it wasn't allowed in many places, even though that's not what MMA is about. However, Dana worked tirelessly with athletic commissions, government officials, and media outlets to legitimize the sport. He helped create a structure that made the UFC not just popular, but respected. It's like taking a virtual school that people may not fully understand and showing how effective and valuable it can be. Because I'm sure that some may look at online schools and make arguments that they are not very good options as opposed to in-person school environments, which isn't a bad thing. But you can't exactly tell if you've never been in a virtual school and seen how it works. Dana teaches us the importance of persistence, never giving up, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Instead of giving up, you should prove the ones against you wrong. And what really stands out about Dana White's leadership is his focus on building strong relationships. He's known for being direct, stern, and tough, but he also deeply cares about the fighters and his partners. He once said, "I'm not here to be friends with everyone. I'm here to run a business. But you better believe that I will take care of the people who help me build it." This is a great lesson for school administrators, teachers, and even students. Leading doesn't always mean being the most popular. It's about making the tough decisions, but also supporting and investing in the people who are a part of your journey and not just leaving them behind. One of Dana White's most innovative moves was introducing The Ultimate Fighter, a reality TV show that changed the game for the UFC. When mainstream media wasn't giving the UFC a chance, Dana created his own opportunity. The Ultimate Fighter brought the sport into living rooms across America and created new stars overnight and introduced new talent to the UFC. This is a lesson in thinking outside the box. If something isn't working, find a new way to get your message across. It's about being creative, adapting to the situation, and never letting obstacles stop you from reaching your goal. And let's not forget Dana's leadership during challenging times. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world came to a standstill, most sports were forced to cancel events. But not Dana White. He found a solution. He created Fight Island, a safe, controlled environment created in 2020 where the UFC could continue to hold events and keep the business alive. At first, for a while, nobody was allowed to watch these events in person to ensure that no one could get infected. However, it was still broadcasting on TV worldwide so anyone could watch it. Eventually, in 2021, people were allowed to watch the events in person, but capped at a certain number of people. Eventually, restrictions were lifted by the time the world was in a much more comfortable position with COVID. This bold move not only saved the UFC during a critical time, but also provided millions of people with entertainment when they needed it most. The takeaway here? In a school environment, there will always be unexpected challenges, but leaders like Dana show us that with creativity and resilience, you can find solutions and keep things going forward, even if that solution isn't clearly visible and needs thinking outside the box. For students, one of the biggest things we can take from Dana White is how there's honestly no secret route to success. Just like UFC fighters have to train, work hard, and push through tough moments to win, and Dana White, being the president and CEO of a fight company that has to broadcast events all around the world, it's the same thing for us. We have to put in the effort to succeed in our studies. There's no shortcut to success. You have to work for everything, and you have to work very hard. Whether it's focusing on your assignments, staying disciplined, or overcoming distractions, success in school, just like in the octagon, takes commitment. Dana White's story is also about taking risks. He once said, "I'd rather gamble on myself than taking a safer route where I'm not in control." This is such an important lesson for both students and school administrators. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith, whether it's trying out new teaching methods in a virtual classroom or students taking the lead on projects. You won't always know if it'll work, but if you trust your skills and work hard, you can achieve great things. Remember that taking risks should always be calculated, not just uncalculated risks. In conclusion, Dana White's leadership is a blueprint for success in any field. From transforming the UFC into a global empire to finding innovative solutions in times of crisis, Dana has shown that leadership is about vision, resilience, and hard work. His journey teaches us that with the right mindset, we can overcome obstacles, adapt to new environments, and achieve greatness in schools or any setting. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. I hope you found today's episode not only inspiring, but filled with lessons that you can apply in your own life. Whether you're a student, teacher, or administrator, there's at least something we can all learn from Dana White's incredible leadership journey. He's done amazing things. We wouldn't have the UFC that we know today if Dana White didn't revive it. That's why I always advise you to keep pushing forward and persevere when things get challenging. You may have to think outside the box or come up with a creative solution for your challenges. But until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and remember, we can all do great things. I know it. As long as we try, it's possible. But this is Ishan Agarwal signing off. Goodbye.